You're listening to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Challenge us at Wexford Insurances 0818 31 30 30.
I'm joined now by Sam Kelly, the funky goddess herself. You may remember Sam from an earlier edition of Business Matters, but for those of you that don't, Sam, what is the funky goddess all about?
Hi Karl, thanks for having me back. The Funky Goddess is a gift box for girls who reach the milestone of their first period. It's an awkward milestone, so the gift box is a parent can give it to her as a nice gift to make her feel special.
And what's in this gift box?
Well, we have a hot water bottle, we have information booklets, a secret casket for their school bag, an eye mask, lip balm, and teen pads because they're starting their journey. It's just lots of nice little feminine things.
Now, last Sunday night you were on the Den and you secured an investment from Gavin Duffy. Well done in relation to that.
Thank you very much.
Now, Sam, tell me about the process. You know, we always wonder what goes on in the Den. Tell us about how you ended up in the Den in the first place.
Okay, well, first of all, I saw on the website they were looking for people to apply. So I said, right, I might as well. So I sent away for an application form, filled in the application form, posted it off, and a few months later I got a phone call to say that I was selected to meet the producers. So then what happens is I went up to meet the producers with one of my gift boxes, and I just briefly told them what it was, what I did, and where I was now, and all that kind of stuff. And I had to bring a business plan and cash projections, all that kind of stuff. And then after that, it was just a waiting game to see if they actually selected you. So I got a phone call just before Christmas, so it was the best Christmas present ever, that I was selected to go in front of the Dragons in January.
When you arrived at the location in January for filming, tell us about the day.
Okay, well, first of all, I had to get up really early at 7:30 in the morning, and I went up and we were just led into an area and we had a breakfast and we met the other people that were going to be pitching that day. And then a producer came over and just gave you a brief run of what was going to happen and what you wanted to have on display for the camera, all that kind of stuff. And then there was the lovely part of getting my makeup done and, you know, getting a chance to look good, which was great. And then there was a coach there as well that gave you a little bit of coaching and just told you to do your pitch, and she would like give you tips and, well, maybe you shouldn't do that, or maybe that's fine or whatever. And then it was just waiting until you were called. So that was the nerve-wracking part.
So, Sam, when you ended out up on the set itself, I know that the reason that they have a staircase up to where the Dragons are is that will raise your own heart rate and make you that little bit more nervous before you do have to face them. So, once you come out onto the set, tell me, how did you feel?
Well, it's quite intimidating. It's a huge room. You don't realise it when you're looking at it on the television. And you've got about 3 different cameras at different angles looking at you. And you're actually about 9 metres away from the Dragons. So they're kind of sitting in front of you. So I remember walking in and then not looking at them and then stopping at the spot and just looking straight ahead and going, oh my God, you know, and it is quite intimidating. And there's all these people that are familiar faces from the television. So you do feel a little bit intimidated, but they're really nice now, in fairness. Like, people don't realise, like, I was up there for like an hour and 20 minutes. So the parts you see on the television are the edited version. So there was lots of conversations, lots of banter as well, like especially with Bobby Kerr, you know, because he was mortified when I came up, you know. But, you know, there's lots of things that go on. And so you don't see that part. Yeah, I was nervous. I was actually a little bit emotional as well because obviously my dad had passed away in May, and when I was getting my makeup done, actually, a butterfly landed on the makeup girl's light, and she was like, "Why is there a butterfly here?" And I was like, "Oh, that's my dad," you know. So I kind of had him in my head anyway going up. So I don't know if you saw the Dragon's Den, you would see I got very emotional, kind of talking about Dad. So we used to watch it ourselves together, and he was always trying to think of something. So it was a big emotional time for me personally, but I just had to kind of focus and remember the figures. I had the figures learnt off, and of course I did forget some of them, as you may have seen, but all in all it was about an hour 20 minutes I was up there. So
Look, there was certainly great support there from both Gavin and Nora on this show, and Gavin did win the investment in relation to it after. Tell me, that was recorded back in January. What has happened since?
Well, since January, a lot has happened. I've had quite a lot of media coverage, both on national radio and on national TV. And that all came from a tweet, would you believe? I did 10 tips for dads from a dad's perspective. And it was done by a friend of mine who was a writer. So it was a really well-written piece, and I had it on my site, and I tweeted that several times. And somebody saw it on this national radio station, asked would he come in and talk about it. So I got a great plug. Also, I won the Theo Pafitis SBS Business Award from Theo Pafitis. Basically, he retweets his favourite 6 businesses every week. It's a competition every Sunday night on Twitter, and I won, and then he had a get together for all the winners, and I was like, oh my god. And I hate flying, but I got on a plane. I got on that plane so I could get that picture with Theo. So it was absolutely fantastic. He is a gentleman, absolutely lovely man, and he tweets me often actually, and retweets me on Twitter, and he's just genuinely really nice guy. And I've just been really lucky. Well, not just lucky though, you have to enter these things to get them in the first place. So people always say, oh, you're so lucky, but in fairness, I have entered anything I see. I just enter it. Like, more people are seeing you, they see the person behind the business, and all these things I've just been working on the background. We're also, as regards stockists, we've got over 30 stockists now nationwide, and we've also got 4 online gift shop stockists in the UK. So things have been, the word is spreading, because I also have had orders from Denmark and the Isle of Man, and it's starting, the momentum is there. Hopefully it's going to continue,
When it comes to Twitter, I know that you're very, very active on that, and you've almost 4,000 followers at this stage. How have you built that? I
have built that from tweeting anything good that happens. People like positivity, okay? And people need positivity at the moment. And I try and be positive. And if something funny happens, even in the house with my daughter or something like that, I do tweet little personal things as well, like, oh, my daughter lost her tooth, she can't wait for the tooth fairy, things like that. People like to hear those little things because it makes them feel normal too. And it's like, also, I would interact. Like, if someone is saying, oh, I had the worst day ever, you say, well, why? What happened? What kind of day did you have? What's going on? And people are not going to interact with you if you don't interact with them. So if they see you're interested in what they're doing, like, it's even in businesses, like if you say, oh my God, your stuff is beautiful, your website's lovely, or give people feedback on what they're actually putting out there, people love that. So they will do the same for you,
Okay, so it's all about engaging really with others on Twitter, and that will help in terms of building a profile and building a following.
Yes, I think that's what's working for me anyway, yeah, definitely.
Now, Sam, it's almost a week after the show went out on Dragon's Den last week, and look, almost 600,000 viewers were watching that show on the night. What was the immediate impact that it had for the Funky Goddess?
Well, I was really looking forward to seeing all my emails, and there was loads of emails and lots of new followers on Twitter, orders, queries from pharmacies wanting to stock it, and it's just been amazing.
For the next couple of months, what's your focus?
Well, at the moment we're focusing on getting Funky Goddess into as many pharmacies nationwide as we can, because we get a lot of orders from certain counties and there is no stockists there. For example, Cork, Tipperary, Galway, Waterford. So that'll be my focus now. And Gavin and I are actually working on a very exciting project which would involve me going around to schools and giving the RSE talks to girls. It would just mean that they'd be getting the accurate information instead of from the playground or whatever. And we're also in negotiations with a feminine hygiene products company about maybe perhaps sponsoring the gift box. So we just have to wait and see what happens there. But it's very exciting, and I'm going to be a busy lady.
Sam, people often wonder, after the Dragon's Den investment, what type of support would you get from the Dragon? What has been your own personal experience?
Well, a couple of weeks after the investment was made, we actually got an invitation up to Gavin's house, to his actual house, and we actually went up with all the other people he'd invested in, and we actually all sat around and brainstormed with all these other experts from media and from marketing or whatever, and we all sat there and we had dinner as well and it was just lovely. It was just surreal. I was couldn't believe I was in Gavin Duffy's house, and it was really nice, and we were just all, it was quite casual, and they're really nice people, you know. And Orla and Gavin actually came down where I had the little party, Dragon's Den party, and they came all the way down, you know, and that was a really nice thing to do. So there is support there. He's always at the end of the phone, you know, often rings or texts if something happens, and it's really good. It is the way you think it's going to be, you know. So, well, for me anyway, with Gavin, it has been like that. So. And
Sam, what are your plans for international expansion?
Well, actually, at the moment, my priority is to get them into the pharmacies in Ireland nationwide. And once that's done, next step would be UK. I actually own the trademark in the UK and in Ireland. So I do get lots of queries from the UK. I've got them in for online gift stores already. It would be great to get into pharmacies, and that is my intention. All over Great Britain, and even the Isle of Man there's been queries from the Isle of Man, and maybe Europe then in the future.
Well, that's certainly a great success story, Sam. Congrats on securing that investment from Gavin Duffy on last week's Dragon's Den, and I wish you every success in the future.
You're listening to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Think Wexford Insurances for your business insurance.